In this video, we're going to talk about how to buy a property without seeing it in person. Welcome back to another episode of Gulf Coast Investing, where we talk about all things investing right here on the Gulf Coast. My name is Casey, and I would love if you would like this video and consider subscribing to my channel for more great content just like this. So I was literally just meeting with a client today, a brand new property owner that we have down here on the Gulf Coast, and they were saying they literally they closed on this property about 2 weeks ago, and they were literally telling me this was the very first time they've actually stepped foot into the property. So we do get a lot of that down here because so many of our owners don't live in the state of Alabama. They live out of state, they're too far away, and with the market the way it is, they a lot of times don't have time to go catch a plane ride to come see a condo and hope it's still in the market and then make an offer and things like that. So many of our owners and clients are buying properties, what we not necessarily called sight unseen, which is one strategy that we'll talk about, but they're buying it without seeing the property themselves. So wanted to make a video and say, hey, if that was you wanted to buy a property in another town, in another city, in another state, and you don't really know the steps or what are the best ways to do that and ensure that you have the best investment, then this video is for you. So again, I kind of mentioned a second ago, sight unseen offers. That's not really what we're talking about here today, but wanted to briefly talk about sight unseen offers. So sight unseen is literally what it says, sight unseen. So we have seen those types of offers, especially in the market in the middle of COVID and things like that. When people, a seller would put their house on the market, all of a sudden you get 4 offers that were sight unseen offers where literally nobody, the client, the agent, nobody that represented the buyer actually stepped foot in the property. They wrote a sight unseen offer that essentially said, hey, we'll pay you this amount of money. It's contingent on an inspection, so we're going to have that, and maybe that's when they come see the property for the first time. But so that's what a sight unseen offer is, if you've seen that part. So what we're talking about today is you have an agent or you have somebody representing you or helping you out that can get into the property and look at it, but you just can't see it yourself. So what are the steps in the process of ensuring that you pick the right one and you make the best, the best move possible? So the first step is, like I just mentioned, making sure you're represented by an agent. So hire you a real estate agent that is knowledgeable and knows the local area and knows your needs and interests so they can help you find the best property. So in this case I just said, they had an agent, and she literally went to numerous units, and first she narrowed down the list from about 20 properties to 5. Then of those, she literally went, scheduled showings, pulled all the information, the comps, the comparables, all those kind of things for the client, narrowed it down, then went to those showings and FaceTimed them and said, hey, I'm your eyes and ears. So, I can show you something on a phone, but it's going to look different on a phone than it does in real person. You don't really get a feel for the warmth of the condo, or the size of the condo, or the smell of the condo, the location of the condo. A lot of those things you're not going to be able to get over the phone. So you really have to have a trusted agent that's going to say, hey, I don't know if I'd buy in this area because of this. I don't know if I'd buy here because it's at a busy intersection and there's lots of wrecks. And hey, people want to buy on the beach side rather than across the street. And, these are some good options. Have an agent that's going to represent you, have your best interests in mind, and it can really help show those things to you. And then again, like I said, they can always FaceTime you where you can kind of see what does it look like for real. Pictures may tell one story, but the video, obviously in person is the best option, but we're talking about if you can't be in person, then have somebody that is there in person that can say, hey, that picture showed a couch pressed up against the wall. Okay, but when I go and I move the couch over, I see there's a huge hole through the wall that the picture's never going to show. You want somebody that's there in person that can touch the property, that can get their hands on it and see, hey, is there something we maybe didn't catch in the pictures? Is there something that's a little bit different than what it should be? Again, they're going to know the ins and outs of the property. They're going to help you write the contract. They're going to be there every step of the way. So that's the first step. The next step is if you are getting a mortgage, to make sure you have a great trusted local lender. So a local lender is going to help you dissect the property, especially when it comes to condos or housing with HOAs and things like that. If there's any rules and regulations. With condos, we run into a lot of insurance and budget problems down here. A trusted local mortgage lender is going to know the ins and outs of the condo docs, of the condo history, if there's liens, if there's judgments, if there's litigation going on. They're going to know that and help you narrow down the properties and help you make sure that you're making the best decision. I was talking to a buddy the other day as we were working out at the gym, and he was saying, hey, if the bank won't underwrite it, then that means it's probably a bad deal. And I said, well, that's exactly what we tell people on the real estate side of things. If it's not a good deal for a bank to lend you the money, then it's probably not a good deal. So that's always a good kind of backdrop that you have, or a net that you have that says, hey, if the bank has looked at everything and they determine that this property is way too risky for them, then it's going to probably be way too risky for you. So again, after you have your agent, make sure you have your mortgage lender. Make sure you have that person that's going to help. They're going to protect you a little bit more on the financial side, help you break down those things, and help determine if that property that you've never seen if it's right for you. We literally have one owner that had never even been to Alabama, and they brought a property in Alabama. So again, they had that team built up. So the third thing that we've talked about in previous videos is an inspection. So hiring an inspector, a couple $100, it's well worth your multi-$100,000 investment to pay a couple $100, have an inspector come in and literally inspect the entire property from the, from the basement, from the subfloor, all the way to the roof. Make sure the foundation, the structure, all that's good. Make sure the inside, the components, the systems, the alarms, the appliances, they're going to literally do a deep dive, way more than your agent or you could ever do, because that's what they're trained and licensed for. And they're going to see, are there any flags that would make, make this not a good deal for you to move forward with. So I love the, companies that we worked with. One of the main ones that we work with down here, they literally have a rating system of red, yellow, green. So red are emergencies, health, and safety issues. Green are yellow are things that you should monitor that probably need to be fixed pretty soon. And then green are things that you should monitor. Maybe they're cosmetic issues or just things that could go wrong and things like that. So, having a good inspection company that has that kind of rating system, so you can literally look at an inspection. We've seen inspections that are 23 pages, and we've seen inspections that are 200 pages. So having those I like those color coordinated things so you can see, hey, how many major concerns are there with this property? What should I look at first? And then, of course, get with your agent, see if you should move forward with the deal, if you should renegotiate, having the seller fix some things or pay you some extra of your closing costs or things like that. Those are discussions you can have with your agent, again, and also with your lender after you have that inspection. So the fourth and kind of bonus final thing I want to talk about, if you're buying an investment property, is having your property manager take a look at it. So we literally have gone on showings with other agents to help them and help their client look at things from a rental side of things. So again, an agent and a lender and an inspector, they're going to look at things from the real estate and the buying side of things. But a lot of times you want somebody to look at things from the rental side of things. So we'll go into properties that our clients have under contract or are about to close on or just closed on, and we'll say, hey, they're taking care of your agent and your team there is taking care of the real estate side, but let's look at it from a management side of things. What can we do to this property to spruce it up? What can we do to make this property more rentable? What kind of things, do you have a 5-bedroom house, but there's only four plates in the cabinet and things like that? We're going to look at things from a more detailed property management side of things to say, hey, you really need a pull-out couch in here. If you only have 2 bedrooms, you can add a pull-out couch, and all of a sudden you add 2 more people to your occupancy, and your rents are going to go up. So So buy a couple $1,000 couch and then you're going to end up paying for itself. So we would come in and look at those type of things, again, to help with your investment. We're also going to look at things on the money side of things, run some projections for you and say, hey, this is how much we're projected that this unit is going to make for you this year. So then you can take those numbers to your financial advisor and your agent and your mortgage lender and say, hey, based on these numbers, are these numbers going to work out? Or am I going to be able to make some money this year or at least break even? And those type of things. So having that full team in place to be able to look at that entire property, again, I would recommend having that full team in place if you saw it yourself. If you went down and saw the property yourself, saw it in person, I still recommend that team. I especially recommend that team, again, if you're not actually coming down and seeing the property or seeing multiple properties in the place for yourself. Have a good team in place. They're going to always help look out for your best interest. A lot of them are legally in contracts that, by law and by oath, they have to look out for your best interest. And they're going to want to look out for your best interest because you may want to buy another place. You may have friends and family that want to buy places. So it's to everyone's benefit that they do their job so that you can make the best and most educated decision on a property that you can't actually see in person. So I hope these steps helped you out. Hope you'll have a good week, and we'll see you next week.